Hey, he's Omega here, and this is the after-action review for the final round of the Periera Home Energy Supermoto Championship. Right, it takes place at Bakersfield, California, at Ken Harvick's Kern County Raceway. Okay, or Kern Raceway is what it's called. Yeah, man, I see this racetrack. I pass by it all the time when I pass through Bakersfield on 5. You'll see like a big like kind of bowl or something, or a oval. That's the one, guys. All right, so that's where the race is at. Yeah, pretty interesting. This is the third year. It's the race is put on by Bronson Pierce. All right, Bronson Pierce is like one of the fastest supermoto racers in the country, guys. Okay, I've seen him race a bunch of times. He's a fast dude. And yeah, so he's trying to keep the supermoto sport alive by throwing out these events. All right. So Hayes Mega, it's pretty much Hayes Mega's last race of the year. All right. So last week we raced in the Hollister Hills Hare Scramble, and this is the final week, and the final supermoto race for 2024 for Hayes Omega, anyways, at least. Okay. Okay. So this is the third round, and it took place in November 15 and 16, all right? So 15, on Friday the 15th, it was the practice, okay? So you get like a 3 or 4 hour practice session, and then the next day is the races, all right? So Hayes May had just signed up for the races. It was really cheap. I think it was 30, I'll put the subtitle below, I forgot how much. But I know the DTX race is $22, and the Supermoto amateur race was like $30-something, okay? So that's pretty inexpensive racing, you know, for a day of fun, all right? So it takes place in an asphalt oval, okay, guys? So it's all asphalt, unfortunately, okay? But the good thing is my stuff doesn't get dirty, all right? So I don't have to clean dirt off all my gear and my motorcycles, okay? So Hayes Mega just not long ago, all right, if you guys don't know, this is the second race that the WR250E is going to race in, all right? And why? And Hayes Mega bought this bike as a trail bike, all right? This is supposed to be I call it a WR250E trail attack bike is what I call it, okay? And I built this bike. Well, I didn't build it. I'm building this bike up into a trail attack bike, right, for like hare scrambles and Virginia City Grand Prix, all right? That's the ultimate goal, to beat the bikes in Virginia City Grand Prix. But I didn't intend to race it in like supermoto stuff, okay? So because I already got a supermoto bike. I've got 2 of them, all right? I've got the Suron Light B, all right, which is going to be a dedicated mini supermoto bike from now on, and Alta Redshift SM39 here, okay? So I signed up. They have what's called a DTX, or Sportsman class. Okay, if you guys don't know what Sportsman is in supermoto racing, Sportsman is a class to get. It's like an introduction class for people with dirt bikes. Okay, or flat trackers. All right, or dirt trackers. That's what DTX stands for. It stands for dirt track. Okay, and basically what a Sportsman class is you take a dirt bike and you put some more streety kind of oriented tires or flat track tires on it, and then you race with it, okay? they also they did have a Nobbies class, all right, guys? But I don't think anybody signed up for it because I didn't see anybody with Nobbies there, okay? I did have Nobbies on the bike, and I took them off, all right? So yeah. So this is the after-action review, guys, for that race, all right? An after-action review is what was supposed to happen, what really happened, and things we could do to improve in the future, right? And yeah, so this is the only race in this series that I'm doing this year, all right? Because other stuff always came up whenever I had to do it, you know, or whenever it came around, okay? Hayes Mega's been racing almost every weekend for a while, all right? And it gets expensive too, guys. And it takes a toll on your body, is what I want to say. But anyway, yeah. So that's the scoop, guys. I just got this bike, and I said, hey, you know what? We can race this in the Sportsman class because it's a dual sport, all right? It's a dual sport. It's got a 21-inch front. It's got an 18-inch rear. Hell, it's even got dual sport, street-oriented dual sport tires on it already. So I said, hey, why don't we just race this and that and see how well it does? I'm not gonna lie, that's not what the bike's intended purpose was supposed to be, but let's try it out. All right, that's that's how that's how you get better, man. You try things out, you find out your deficiencies, and you grow upon it. Okay, type of thing. But yeah. So anyway, this is going to be the last race before Hayes Mega starts the project. All right, doing some major modifications to this bike to get it the way I want it. Okay, um, somebody else built this bike. Okay, guys, and Hades Mega is building upon it. All right. They laid the foundation, and I'm gonna polish it off, right? Basically, right? But I didn't build. I'm not building this bike for a supermoto or like a sportsman race. I mean, I guess. So sportsman is like I'm telling you, I've only raced sportsman one other time, all right, and that was in the Light B. When I first got it, I had the 17s on it, and they said like, hey, they said as long as if you're running with the factory tires, and I'm like, oh yeah, well these are these supermoto rims come you can buy a set from Sauron for the Light B, so in a sense it is kind of factory, right? So it's using the factory Sauron wheels. So yeah, they let me race it, and guess what I raced against? I raced against this bike, okay? I raced against one of these bikes, Alta Redshift SM, alright guys? And all I could do against it was to keep it from lapping me, and I did accomplish that goal. He didn't lap me, but I definitely didn't beat it. Okay. Yeah, nowadays, if somebody was to race this and I was to race a Light B and the course was tight enough, I think I could probably take a Redshift, man, with the Light B. I'm not sure. All right, because I'm just as fast on the Light B as I am on the Redshift, unfortunately. So yeah, also another thing is you guys will see the difference between these two bikes. I'll tell you the difference between the two bikes. All right, they're kind of similar. They're both motorcycles. They're both kind of like dirt bikes, sorta. All right, in a sense, that's where the geometry and the style of the bike, it originates from a dirt bike. Okay, guys, that's like Supermoto is a dirt bike adapted for street, where this is a dual sport. All right, they do sell Supermoto version of this, by the way. All right, this is a dual sport. And it's a dirt bike that was adapted so you can ride it on the street, all right? Basically, yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, but except this one kind of retains more of its dirt DNA, all right, is what I want to say. Okay, so yeah. So Friday was the practice. Let me tell you about the preparation I did up until then. I did no preparation on the Redshift because that's all it does, man. I've only been racing with it. I rarely ride it on the street, guys. However, since it's the end of the Supermoto race year, I think I'm going to go throw the street tires back on this guy, and then we can start riding it on the street, all right? But winter is not the best time to ride electric bikes, okay, guys? I'd rather ride a gas bike in the wintertime, guys, because they get warm, right? So yeah, so that's a scoop. I didn't really do much prep to this bike, other than just bring all the stuff for it, because we've been racing it all year, and Hades and Mega, so I've been refining this bike ever since I got it, all right? And I think I've gotten it to a point where it's doing pretty good now, all right? I'm pretty happy with it. Before, the bike wouldn't turn, the bike couldn't jump, the bike would overheat a lot. And I addressed all of those issues, all right? With the heavier spring, I got the suspension adjusted, we lowered the front, I got stickier tires for it. All right, and now it's a much better Supermoto race bike than it when I first got it. All right, basically it was set up as a street bike. Okay, so that's the scoop on this guy. I didn't really have to do anything to it because I've been racing it the whole year and refining it. All right, and this is its final race for the year. Okay, and I don't think I'm really gonna do much else to this bike other than maintain it and put sticky rubber on it because this thing gobbles up tires, man. Okay. And then so there's the WR250E. Like you mentioned, I just got this thing. I'd done a lap or two at Honolulu Hills, which is not very far from Kern Raceway, by the way. And I heard it's owned by the same people. It's a funny thing. Also, we raced like I mentioned, we raced a hare scramble the week before. So I had put Dunlop knobby tires on this bike, and I was like, I don't want to race with knobby tires, man. So I want to race with these tires. These are great street tires. They're Shinko 705s, all right. If you guys don't know what a Shinko 705 is, it's a Shinko dual sport tire that's kind of like, it's like a 80 on road, 20 off road kind of tire, right? It's a great kind of, it's a compromise tire, right? If you're going to spend more of your time on the pavement than you know, and you kind of occasionally want to go off road, just some really light off road stuff, then this is a good tire for that. Okay, this is the same tire I run on my KLR 650 because my KLR 650 sees mostly road work. Okay, yeah. So what I did to prepare the bike, all right, after the hair scramble, okay, guys. I put the tires that I got with it back, all right? I put the Shinko 705s back on, and I pinched the freaking tube twice, guys, all right? I pinched the tube that was in it. I took it out. I had a brand new tube. I stuck it in there, and I pinched it again. I think I'm taking too deep of bites, all right? It's easy to pinch the tubes, apparently, on the rear wheel on this. I hate the rear wheel on this bike. Yeah, so I had to patch I patched the newer tube, and then I took the other tube. I patched that tube up too. That one had two pinches in it. All right, guys. And I was like, I don't know. I never patched a tube with a pinch in it before, because when you pinch it, it makes two marks, right? So it makes two punctures. So I fixed it, and I threw it in there. Hey, it held air. I was like, okay, well, hopefully. And I brought the other tube just in case something has happened to it. All right, but fortunately, nothing did. All right, good. Yeah, we took the rim lock off of it. What else did we do? I think that's pretty much it. I added hand guards. For the hair scramble, we added hand guards. All right, I'll go over some of the stuff we did for the hair scramble. I tightened up a lot of the bolts. One of the things that I had to do before I left was tighten the kickstand bolts. All right, the kickstand bolts came loose on this bike during the hair scramble, so I took them out and I put Loctite on them and I stuck them back in. All right, so that wouldn't be a problem. Or we could just take the kickstand off, period. All right, but I didn't bring a stand for it. So another thing is I don't have tire warmers for this bike. It's running a 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear. I don't have tire warmers for a 21 at least. Maybe we can fit a 17-inch tire warmer on the back, all right, on an 18. I'm not 100%. I didn't try, okay, guys? Yeah. So, and I think that's pretty much it. That's all the prep that we did. Well, I tightened the head stem nut because it was loose, all right, or I tightened the headset, all right, the head bearings, because those were loose too. I tightened the spokes. I tightened the axle, all right. Yeah, the axle was like hand tight, guys, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so yeah, so that was the scoop. And so we were gonna race this in Supermoto Amateur, and we're gonna race this in DTX Sportsman. All right, a dirt tracker sport. I guess they just throw us all in. It's pretty much an open dirt tracker class. Okay. So it's got to have like dirt bike wheels on it, all right, a 21-inch front or like 19s, okay? Yeah, so it was kind of that class was a combination of dirt trackers or flat trackers bikes and dirt bikes with kind of streetier tires, all right? That's what like a sportsman class is, okay? It's like like I mentioned, it's an introductory class to supermoto racing, all right? So if you don't have the money, or you don't feel like you want to invest, if you don't want to invest the money in to get 17s for your supermoto bike, or for your dirt bike or dual sport, then you can put street tires on your dirt rims, all right, and that's the sportsman class, okay, guys. It's to get people to try supermoto racing out, all right. That's one way to do it, okay, and it's kind of a cool class. I'll tell you how it went later, all right. Okay. So yeah, like I mentioned, I think it was like $22 to race this bike, and then it was like $30-something to race this bike. So what a bargain, all right? So I get there, I load up Friday morning, all right, like around 10. I didn't get there until about 3 o'clock, all right? I loaded both bikes onto the trailer, and then so we had warmers for this bike, no warmers for that bike, all right? So that's the plan. And the good thing is the raceway has power. Okay, so there's a wall where you in the pit lane, where they have power. Like every other parking spot in the pit has a power outlet on it. All right, so it's got plenty of power almost. Unfortunately, they don't have 240 volt power. So that's a good thing for me because I need to do a lot of charging. All right. So when I got there, I got to watch the practice. All right, I didn't pay for the practice. The practice was $100. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save my money and not do the practice. I'll just do the racing. We'll get to practice the next day, so that's fine. So that's a scoop, and I think a lot of people did that. But yeah, I got to watch the practice. I got to see where everybody, where the track is and everything, and I'm just like, holy crap, man, this is a really high-speed track, man. I'm like, I don't know how, yeah, both of the bikes are gonna, eat up a lot of energy on this track, okay? Yeah, so that's the scoop, guys. And yeah, so there's like kind of two high-speed sections, all right, that go along the bowl, all right, the banked oval, basically. I'll call it a bowl, guys, but it's a banked oval is what it is for, like, NASCAR and stuff. And then there's the center section that's flat, but it's very tight corners, all right? It's just a series of like hairpin turns, and then during practice they didn't have it, but the next day they put a jump in, okay? So that's it's like a little ramp that you use to jump, and they say you can go around it too if you want. Yeah. So I kind of got an idea, all right? I didn't ride on the track. I didn't get to walk on it or anything. But yeah, and then it was kind of crazy. They had those Legends cars. They're having a Legends car race. It's just tiny little. It's like a midget car. It's like a really big go-kart, and it looks kind of like a classic kind of body type of style. And they had like what they call pro lights. They're there for the ZMAX races. Okay, is what it is. And they look like NASCARs, which is basically what they are. And they're really loud and really fast. Okay. But yeah, the Supermotos were gonna go before all of them and stuff. All right. Yeah. So I got to see that. It was like it's a huge event, guys. Lots of stuff was going on. So lots of entertainment. All right. Also, I had to buy a $50 wristband. Right. That's another thing. But yeah, you have to buy the $50 wristband so you can go to the event and all that stuff, I guess. They want to make money off of this type of thing. All right, so that's probably that kind of offsets the savings for the race fees. That's what I say. All right, and yeah, and so Bronson Pierce is the one that was saying, taking care of everything, and he's the guy that you would go to, if you had questions. All right, he's a real cool guy. And there's going to be a lot of racers from what I heard. There's going to be they said there was like 40 racers total, and there was going to be something around like 30 bikes on the grid for the Supermoto race. Okay, there's going to be a lot of racers, all right, and pit space was kind of at a premium because they had all those freaking cars there, man. So my goal was to get so we had to vacate the oval there. Yeah, so how you get in there, guys, there's a tunnel, all right, guys. How you get to the pits, there's a tunnel that you drive down, and it spits you out in the middle of the oval, all right, and that's where the pit is, all right. There's kind of like a pit area where the center of the oval is, and that's where all the cars pitted and everything. It's kind of crazy. I never yeah, I don't know. Even the Supermoto USA race wasn't like that. Okay, this is what I want to say. But hey, it was pretty rad, man. And so we had to vacate that area Friday night, and then we had to, and we could camp in the parking lot, all right? And why I say camp is basically you could just park in the parking lot and you could sleep in the car, but they didn't have no bathrooms or anything anywhere. So it's not really camping, man. There's no place you can go. I mean, you could do a number one anywhere you want, right? But number two, that's good luck, man. Fortunately, I didn't have to, okay? I hung out there with my buddy Eric. He came from, he's from Berkeley, all right? And he came down. He was going to race his 250, all right? So another thing about this race, it's a big bike race, okay, guys? You need a bigger, faster bikes. No, it's not really a bike for minis. They didn't really have a mini class, so that's why I didn't bring the Lightby, okay, guys? So the light bee is taking its break for the year type of thing already. All right, but like I said, they had a dirt tracker class, and I wanted to see what this could do. All right, so okay, so the next day rolls around, and then they let us in at 11, and I find a parking spot at. And I asked Bronson, like, hey, I need power because I need to charge my bikes, and I want to charge my car too. And it takes forever to charge these electric vehicles, man. I'm telling you, it's awful, especially when you only got 110 power, man. So yeah, we get the pit set up. I'm pitting with Eric, and then yeah, so I did have a generator, so I could be self-sufficient. But I used every little bit of power I could get, man. I used 2 of those outlets up, all right, guys. So because each outlet has its own circuit, so you can you can draw a good amount of power from the outlets. So I had one charging my RAV4, and then I had I think I just had one charging the RAV4, and then I used the I think I used that outlet to charge one of these bikes, all right, or 2 of the bikes. And then I want to run the warmers for the Redshift, okay? So it's a good thing I didn't have 2 sets of warmers because I don't think I would have had enough power for all that, man. But yeah, I was still running the generator, so that's fine. I brought it, might as well use it, right? I had all the fuel for it and everything. It's just kind of loud and stinky, but what are you gonna do, man? There's still not enough power, guys. These things eat up a lot of power, right? Anyway, I brought them in fully charged. We got the pit all set up, and then practice isn't until like 2 o'clock or something, all right? So we go in, I register with everything. I got the transponders, all right? And fortunately, I told them, I told them, like, hey, I think I need 2 transponders because my, each one of these bikes is like kind of, the Redshift has the problem with those, the Milapse transponders, the little bricks, all right? Or it looks like a pack of cigarettes or something. This bike has a problem when you put it in your boot. It doesn't register it. Okay, if the sensor is buried underneath the ground, all right, basically, and it was okay. So I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. So what I did is I zip tied it to the ram ball mount, and then I put some duct tape around it. All right, and I think that'll be fine for like just racing on the pavement. All right. This one I zip tied it around the fork leg, and I put I put a duct tape around it, all right, and it worked. I still got the freaking tape on there. I got to take it off. Okay, I put a tape on there so the little there's the little charger leads. They stick out and they could scratch the fork. So I put some tape over it so it doesn't scratch the fork. Okay, because I want my pretty gold forks to stay golden, all right. Okay, so that's a scoop. The bikes are all set up. All right, I got the transponders on them, and then so we go out for practice. DTX goes out first for practice. Yeah. So here's what the practice schedule is, guys. You get 1 10-minute practice, and then you get another 10-minute practice. All right, for each. So each class gets 10-minute practice. There's pretty much 2 different races going on. There's the dirt trackers classes, and then there's Supermoto classes. All right. The Supermoto, the amateurs and the pros run together, all right? It's kind of crazy like that, all right? They put us all together, but they put the pros in the front and the amateurs are in the back. And when I say like the amateurs are behind the pros, it's literally the amateurs are behind the pros, okay, guys? Here's the spoilers, guys. So when they lined us up, the pros are on the front, right? There must have been like 10, somewhere around that many pros, all right? 10 or 12, something like that. And then there's probably like 20 of us amateurs, all right? When we're in the back, when I say back, they probably skipped 1 row, they skipped 1 row, and then they put us behind that, all right? And then we stack up behind it. We were like right up there with the pros. So like, hey, if you could rocket start the pros, Merlin, you could race with the pros. There's no way I would beat those pros, man. They're so fast. So you get a practice for dirt track, practice for Supermoto, and then you go and you get a time practice for dirt track and a practice for Supermoto. All right. So, and it's a 10-minute practice, so it eats up a lot of power. But I the thing is, I need to practice because I never been on the track. So practice makes perfect, guys, right? I wouldn't like race any race if I'd never raced on the track before. You gotta you have to know where you're going, right? And so that's another thing. For the first lap, we followed Bronson around on his Super 73 bike. We did a lap with him on his electric bike, really slowly, so we could figure out where we're going. Okay, guys. The turns are really tight. All right, if you're going really fast and then it gets really tight all of a sudden. All right, Supermoto stuff. All right, guys. What can I say? And yes, they did have the jump in there. Okay, the jump was pretty much. Ooh, it was at the beginning of the start, right? It was after turn 2 or something. Okay. Yeah, so they had this little ramp there that you would jump, or you can go. You have a choice to jump it, or you go around it. Okay, and most of the time I jumped it. Okay, so we're going out there on the WR250E. I'm not really sure what to expect. I've got the GPS strapped to it. All right, just to get some tracks, so you guys can see what the track layout look like, and to see how fast we're going. All right, because this I have a speedometer on it. All right. And yeah, I was like taking a look at it, and we're out there. I'm having a good time on it. The WR250, what can I say? I never really raced this. Yeah, I haven't taken this on a racetrack yet. I've only trail ride it, or I have taken it motocross racing, or I took it on a motocross track, not racing, but all right. But it's not the same as like a freaking Supermoto track, okay, guys? Because a Supermoto track, you're like wide open, all right? And so I think the max speed we hit on this bad boy was 60 miles per hour. It's surprisingly fast, all right? So I say it's 84 volts, right? And it's running like 15 kilowatts. It felt surprisingly fast. No. It didn't feel fast. I mean, it feels fast really quickly, and then like kind of like just slows down right away, right? But you can hit a max speed of 60 miles an hour. It's pretty zippy. It's no slouch, man. And here's the sensation I feel from it. Like, it just feels really fast at first, and it kind of falls flat on its face. But I get the feeling that it feels faster than it feels. All right, if you can understand that, right? It doesn't feel very fast, but it is kind of fast. All right, so it's definitely not as fast as the Redshift in terms of power, but it's not bad, man. This QS138 motor, it rocks, man. All right, and also I want to mention this bike is geared. It's geared for trail riding, all right, guys. It's got really short gearing, like it's got dirt bike kind of gearing, all right. It's not made for high speed stuff, all right. And I guess that'll help on the tight stuff, all right. But what can I say? The practicing with it, it feels slower than this, but like it feels more nimble. Like I can turn around the corners. It's easier to ride, and that's attributed to this bike weighs 235 pounds when I weighed it, and this bike weighs 280 pounds, all right? So you've got like 60, yeah, you've got close to 60 pounds, all right? You've got close to 60 pounds of weight on this bike compared to this bike, and that makes a big difference in the handling, all right? So one of the biggest problems with the Redshift is, yes, it's too heavy, man. All right? It doesn't, and yeah, so even with these dirt tracker tires, the dual sport tires, it still handled pretty good. So it makes me wonder how good is this handle with Supermoto tires, all right? Because they have the X model, right? But anyway, so that's a scoop. I got a pretty good feel for the track. I think I was out there the whole time because I wanted to get some practice. And then I realized, oh shit, this thing eats up a lot of power. We're almost at like half charge already. So I plug it into the charger. The problem with the charger, the guy that sold me the bike, it only has a 5 amp charger, guys. That's really slow, right? Like a 10 amp or a 12 amp charger, it would charge it much faster, right? Obviously, a 10 amp charger is going to charge twice as fast as a 5 amp charger. So this one, I don't know how many amps it does, but it eats up like 1,000 watts when it charges, okay? This one probably eats half of that. This charges twice as slow as this, okay, guys? So and this battery is a third of the size of the battery in this bike. All right, so where you save in weight, you lose out on capacity. All right, guys. So it's physics, man. You guys can't cheat it. All right, you can't cheat physics. All right, guys. Until they make a better a better capacity batteries and all that stuff, it's it's gonna suck for electric motorcycles still. Okay. But anyway, so we go out. I went out on the red shift again. All right, for the practice. And I'm like, oh wow, man, we're really fast. And then and I got the pros are out there also with us practicing, and you get to see them zip around you really fast. Like I remember Coy Baker was out there, and he would be going into turns like sideways and everything. It's amazing getting to see people ride out there. All right. I would say the red shift felt pretty at home out there. All right. One thing I noticed is that, man, it's kind of hard to twist the throttle all the way when I want to get that full power. Like I can't. It's hard for me to twist it all the way because I can tell when I'm not twisting it all the way. It's not going as fast. Right. This one like it develops all its power like at 3/4 throttle. Like really the rest of the throttle, it doesn't really do anything. It's really easy to just crack the throttle open on this bike. All right, but it just kind of falls flat on its face and it just keeps on accelerating. This one, it just if when you get to full throttle, you'll know it, man, because it takes off like a rocket. Okay, but yeah, what I did notice is this is kind of slower. It doesn't want to turn as much, and I think it's attributed to this bike is faster than this bike too. So, but another thing is the brakes. All right, so. Yeah, I'm going to already tell you the differences between these bikes, all right? Because I rode both the practices back to back on both of these bikes. The brakes are much better on the red shift, okay, the Supermoto red shift, than they are on this bike, all right? And this, like I said, this is the dual sport version. It doesn't have very good brakes. So another thing is there's no regen on this bike, all right? I never got the regen working on this bike. I tried to get it working, but I could not, guys, all right? However, when I'm at top speed and I let go of the throttle, I do kind of feel a little engine braking for a little while. I don't know what that is, but it kind of slows down a little bit, but then you still have to use the brakes a lot. So I have to do a lot of early braking with this, where this one I could do a lot more late. I would say you can do more late braking, but this bike is so much faster than this bike that, like, yeah, man, you still have to kind of brake a little earlier, right? Because you're going super fast going into some of those turns, all right, is what I'm going to say. Okay, but I felt really comfortable on this bike after a while. I was like, yeah, it's easier to ride. I just hold the throttle open, throw the bike. This bike kind of has a more willingness to turn and stuff because it's lighter. I think it has a smaller wheelbase. It's the same, almost the same sensation I got from the Light Bee. I almost wish I had just taken the Light Bee to race. I know, we could have just put 19s on the Light Bee and raced that in the dirt tracker class. Oh, I wonder if we could have done that. That's a good idea. Maybe we could do that next time. Anyway, so that's besides the point, yeah. So another thing is this thing eats up a lot. But I mean, both of these bikes eat up a lot of power. I think we were 75 after practice on this one, and I think we were like 60% on this one after the first practice. So I tried to keep the practices to a minimum, but the practices are 10 minutes, so you could definitely hang in there for 10 minutes. However, this one takes a long time to charge. All right, this is what I'm beginning to realize. All right, so I'm trying to you got to minimize the time out there with this bike. All right, this bike is okay because it's got a big battery. All right, so okay, and then when we do a time to practice, right? Basically, it's a qualifying. They're going to take your fastest lap time, and then they're going to grid you according to that. Okay. So we go out for the second practice. I think I only do 3 laps on this, and I think we got the 10th or 11th position. I think we got the 10th position. Right? I think both of these we got 10th position. That's crazy, right? We're pretty much last on the the WR, as well as say, because there wasn't that many people in the dirt tracker class. In the Supermoto class, yeah, I think we were like 11th or 10th or somewhere. Let me look. Okay, by the way, we hit a total... Oh, yeah, so for the first practice, I did have the GPS on this guy. So here's some kind of stats for it. Oh, okay, that's a 10-minute... I think I took this out twice. So this is the combined stats for the GPS for both the practices, right? The time practice and just the regular practice. We rode 7.8 miles. I don't know how many laps we did. We probably did close to like eight, 8 or 9 laps, somewhere around there. This bike hit a max speed of 62.5 miles an hour. It's pretty fast. This is actually a pretty fast bike, man. We had a moving average of 21.6 miles an hour, all right, and then we practiced for a total of 21 minutes, a whole lot, all right. That's what I'm saying. We're probably, I mean, some of that was probably we weren't on the track. That was just us getting off the track. Okay, so for sportsmen, we got 10th, all right, and 10th out of 13. So we didn't get dead last. That's good, all right, guys. This bike is not bad, all right. But there's like 9 other guys in front of us that are faster. Okay, so not so good. All right, and then so for the Supermoto Amateur, we got 13th. All right, our time was 13th. 13th out of 15 riders. So we're almost at the back of the pack, guys. We're pretty slow. That's what I want to say. Okay, I wasn't really expecting to do very good anyway. So guys, so that's how we stack. We're like at the back of the pack. All right, guys. And so that was that. And then we had the heat race. All right, and the heat race is going to be. So the heat race, I think we got like 40 minutes or something, somewhere around there. So I made sure and I plugged both of these bikes into the charger, all right, and charged it. And then we had this on the warmers. I was able to run all of that somehow, all right. I had to do some crazy, like there was just wires and every power strips and all this crap all over my pit. Okay, guys. He's making needed a lot of power in addition to the freaking tire warmers and all that shit. Okay, so that's the crazy stuff, man. Yeah, we had to, whenever we weren't riding, we had to charge the bikes. All right, basically. This one not so much, but this one definitely, because this one charges so slow. So I didn't think that we would need to charge the bike a whole lot. All right, guys, because we were only out there. We were out there 20 minutes. So the heat race, all right, guys, is 6 minutes plus 1 lap. All right, so after 6 minutes, after the next lap is the end of the race. All right, after 6 minutes, I guess they're gonna throw up the white flag, and then you do one more lap, and then that's the end of the race. Okay, and it's the same for the dirt trackers and the Supermoto race. Okay, yeah. So I had both of these on the chargers, and I didn't know if this is gonna finish the race because I'm already like close to half charged, guys. Okay. I think I got it close to like 80 something. It was at 80 something volts, man. So we go and do the race. All right. I think I gridded like 10th or something, and so I was like at the bottom of the bank. And so another thing is we never did any race starts. All right. So we're there, and so you start on the banked oval part. You know, I've started some races in some crazy ass places. But that's for like dirt bike races, okay? Like or hair scrambles and stuff. They have you start in like a weird place. Well, this was kind of a weird place, okay, guys. We're on the banked part of the oval. That's where it starts, right? Because that's where the starting line is, and it's banked to the left. So if you put your foot down on the left, you'll probably drop your bike, all right? So you got to lean your bike to the right and put your right leg down. Hayes Mega practices launches with my left foot on the foot peg, all right? Now, I know that's good for people that, yeah, it's good for gas bikes because the gas bikes, you need to get access to the shifter right away, okay? But that's okay. It doesn't really matter. I don't really need, there's no reason for me to keep my foot on my left foot on the foot peg or what, vice versa, okay? So yeah, so we already have to adapt to something, and I'm gonna do my rocket start with the right leg dangling instead of the left leg, okay? Because if I do it with I guarantee you I'd freaking drop this bike, man. This bike is so tall. I'm so gonna lower it, guys, okay? Just a little bit, that's what I want to say. Okay, so yeah, that's a scoop, guys. The signboard goes down, all right? There's a 10-second signboard, all right? It's kind of like in motocross, they have a 10-second warning. And then we watch Bronson, and when the green flag goes up, we go, okay? So green flag goes up, we go. I think I must have done a little bit of a wheelie off of the line because this power comes on really quickly. It's really abrupt on this thing, and yeah, it came up a tiny bit, and then I think I let off a little bit, and I took off again. and I think I was still in the back of the pack, and I was just chilling, right? And we're racing for 6 minutes. I think we wind up getting lapped, and there was a guy who was racing out there. I think he had a Pierce. It wasn't Bronson or his dad, but it was another dude with a Pierce leathers. Okay, guys, and I was out there racing with him. Yeah, there was a guy who was racing out there, and it was pretty fun, and I think. Man, after about like 5 minutes or something, I started like letting off on the throttle. When we get to the straight, I would always, gun it, go wide open. But like it's just like I'm like, man, this is eating up a lot of power. So at the end of the race, I said, oh, it's just a heat race. I started backing off a little bit. All right. Like I mentioned, this thing is easy to ride on that course. I was really good at like slowing down before the turn, turning it, and then go to the next one, jumping it. It did all that stuff pretty well, is what I want to say. All right, it just wasn't super fast. I think it could probably go faster if we shorten the gearing, but maybe the stuff would start overheating, so maybe not. Okay, so it did pretty good against those dirt trackers, but we wound up. I think we wound up 11th place again. So we kind of lost one place. All right, we went from 10th to 11th. But we did okay, I guess. I don't think we got lapped too bad, type of thing, all right? And then we go out for the Supermoto, and I'm all flustered and stuff already. Well, I'm all tired and stuff from one of the races, from the dirt track race. And then we go out in the Supermoto, the red shift. And then it is wild, guys. There had to be like more than 20 of us out there. It was probably around, yeah, there was more than 20 of us out there, all right? Like I mentioned, the pros were right in front of us and we were right behind them. We could literally, if you were fast enough, you could probably catch up to the pros when they started, Unfortunately, Hayes Mega, the rocket start with the red shift, it didn't pan out the way I planned it to. There's just so many bikes, and I didn't want to run into anybody or clip anybody's tire. Going around, it's kind of similar to the Supermoto USA start, basically. I did a lot better then, but there was a lot less bikes. But there's so many bikes, and you're just there. You're trying not to hit people. It's like you're driving on in freeway traffic, is what it feels like. Okay, guys. And we go around the corner, and we're trying to find a place to put your bike in somewhere, and then off we go to the fast section, all right? And then that's when everybody starts getting spread out a little bit, okay? Especially with the pros, type of thing. All right, we're out there for 6 minutes. I believe I got lapped by the pros at least once, and yeah, and we're out there. I must have had a couple races. I was behind Connor, all right? Freaking Connor again, Connor Lynn, all right, on his KTM, and I couldn't catch him, man. I was really close. It's the same story every time with Connor, guys. Whenever I'm racing with him, with this guy, I can catch up to him. In the beginning, I'm catching up to him. I'm almost passing him, but I just can't quite pass him, He doesn't leave enough opening for me to, or he doesn't slow down enough for me to pass him. But I'm right on him, all right? And I remember there's a couple times where oh shit, I might hit him. If I'm not careful, I might hit him. So I have to back off a lot. And then so the person behind me starts catching up. And I think Eric, the guy I pitted with, he's right behind me, all right? Type of thing. I think Jeremy said he was behind me too. Jeremy Callender was there too. So that's how it is. I think I finished 10th, guys. I finished 10th out of 15. That's actually not bad. That's almost that's not quite. It's not quite mid-pack, all right? Almost mid-pack. So I think we did pretty good in the amateurs, okay? Type of thing, all right, with the red chip. However, I don't know. I felt like I was having more fun doing the DTX race, man. It was because it was the riding with that. Yeah, so here's one thing Hayes Meg is not used to, all right? In the golden days of Supermoto, there used to be grids of 20, 30, 40 bikes on the grid, insane amount of bikes, like they do in sport with sport bikes now, right? Well, Supermoto is just not. It's not as big as it used to be, man. The most I've seen on a grid is probably I race normally with is 10, right? But most of the time it's just there's just a handful of us racing, okay, guys? So I'm not really used to racing with that many people. So in a sense, it's a good experience, all right? You get to experience racing with a lot of bikes, okay? Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, you just, I just try to be super cautious. I don't want to hit anybody, and I don't want anybody to hit me, you know, that type of thing. I don't want to run anybody over, that type of thing, right? We're all there to have fun, right? And it's not fun if you get hurt or break your bike, right? Um, so if I remember correctly, the Redshift overheated. Um, yeah, it overheated, and I think it was at like 40% charge, all right? So I hook it up to the charger. I hook both of them back up to the charger after the race. All right, so remember we're 11th and we're 10th on this one, right? So I think we moved up on this one, and I think we moved down one in this one, right? And then so, but here's the problem, guys. We have less than, we have like 40% charge on this bike, all right, the WR250E, and the charger is hella slow. It charges like less than half the speed of this one, all right? And this one has a bigger battery, so we get, if I had another battery, it would be great. If I had a, so there you go. There goes the, I need multiple batteries. I need to be able to swap batteries. That's where that would have came in handy here. If I had a second battery with this, it would have been good. Okay, so hopefully we'll get the battery situation sorted out on this bike. All right. But yeah, definitely if I had a second battery, it would have alleviated a lot of headaches for Hayes and Mega, right? And another thing is, yes, if we had a if we had another charger. So Hayes and Mega has a 72. This uses an XT60 connector to charge, so it's really easy to just plug it in, right? And I have a 72 volt charger. The 72 volt charger charges to 84 volts, so that's about half the charge on this. But it can charge at 10 amps. It charges twice the speed of the charger that came with this bike. So if I had that charger, I could have charged it up to half capacity much faster. All right, and then I could just put the other charger and it'll charge the rest of the way super slow, right? But yeah, it doesn't help. So I still, Hades Mega is still up in the air whether I want to stick with this 84 volt battery. I kind of like it and I kind of don't like it because all my stuff is 72 volts. I think 72 volts is perfectly fine. Okay, guys, it's still good. It's nice to have that extra 12 volts though. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So we'll have to figure that out when we're re-engineering this bike, okay? But anyway, yeah, so it doesn't look good for this bike, okay, guys? So there's it's 2 hours until the main event, all right, the main race, all right? So the main race is going to be 8 minutes. So you know how the heat race was 6 minutes plus 1 lap? Well, the main race for the DTX is 8 minutes plus 1 lap, all right? And also I want to mention that the DTX class had a there was prize money in it, all right. So if we won, we could have won some prize money, all right. But I didn't want to get my hopes up for that, you know. I'm just there to have fun, okay. And then in the Supermoto class, we're out there for 10 minutes plus 1 lap, all right. And I'm pretty sure if I had a good amount of charge on this, we could have finished that race. This one, I didn't know if I could finish the race, all right, guys. I think I got it. So they had an autograph session, right? So I think the heat races ended by 4, and yeah, so this is the time crunch, guys. All right, so I wish these bikes had like fast chargers, man. What the hell, like the Impulse did. But the problem is there's no 240 volt charging there too, so that kind of kills it. They only have 110 power, man, guys. Maybe I could have just hooked 2 chargers up to 2 of those thingies and charged it twice as fast. There's a lot of things we could have done. I should have brought the Solano charger. I didn't think about the Qi battery charger. I should have brought it, guys. Anyway, so that's a scoop. There's an autograph session at 5 o'clock, and then the races start again at 6 o'clock. So we've got about 2 hours. It was like 4 o'clock already, okay, guys, after the races. And we've got 2 hours to charge the bike, all right? So I can get a significant amount. I think this is at 40% after the heat race, guys. And it overheated, all right? So I big bring the fan with me to cool the battery, so I was cooling the battery. Oh, I didn't mention what the weather was like too, guys. The weather was excellent, all right? It was cold. It was cool the day before. It's like the end of fall, pretty much. We're like in the middle of fall, all right? The weather's starting to get cold, okay, guys? It was probably 60s, 70s in the day, all right? And then once the sun came down, it was probably 50, 60s, all right? It was cold, all right? And we already overheated the bike, all right? So, like, even though it's cold, I can still overheat this bad boy, okay? Yeah, I had the bigger sprocket. Never did I feel that the bike was low on power, okay, guys? This one, I did. I could feel the power drop off when it was dying, right, type of thing. Um, so yeah, I didn't go to the autograph session because I was charging the bikes. All right, that was my excuse not going to the autograph thing. It was pretty cool. They had all the cars out there and all the bikes out there, and then people went out there, and we could have. People were asking for your autographs and all that stuff. It was pretty rad, guys. I didn't go out there. I just said, you know what? I can't bring the bikes out there, man. They have to be charging. So I left them charging, and I let Kevin Bergens use my scooter to go, hang out with everybody out there. so yeah, I had this one on the warmers, and then we're trying to charge the batteries, and so I think I was able to get this battery close to 90%. I almost got it fully charged. All right, like 90% is like the sweet spot. That's where you want it, anyways, right? This one, I think I got it to 86 volts. All right. Like I said, I think this thing was almost dead. Yeah, this is almost dead after the heat race, guys. I didn't know we were gonna finish the heat race, and we barely did. All right, guys, and so that was only 6 minutes. This is 8 minutes. It's the same thing, but just a little bit longer, and it's already dying, right? So, so 86 volts in an 84 volt nominal battery is like maybe like 55% charge. All right, not good, guys. not good at all, because the battery is small, right? We gotta have a full charge to be able to finish a race. All right, unfortunately, and this thing just charges slow as shit, guys. With this charger that comes with it, so that's definitely, that has to be addressed. Okay, but yeah, multiple batteries and a charger would be helpful. But yes, okay, so the DTX race comes along, all right, and like all the crowds are in the stands and everything, and the flag goes up, boom, we go, and then I'm in the back of the pack, and I'm racing with all the other guys back there. And we're doing pretty good. We're at the back of the pack, but we're battling with everybody in the back. All right, that's good. We're competitive. All right, as I want to say. All right, because I didn't like us. I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't have high hopes for this bike. It's not what I designed. What we're designing this bike for, guys. We're not supposed to do these kind of races with it, but yeah, I was having fun out there. Like I said, the bike is slower, but it handles better. Like, it's easy. It just goes around the corners a little better. The brakes suck, but I didn't remember overheating the brakes at all. A lot of people were overheating their brakes, from what I heard. Yeah, because you're going so fast and you're trying to slow down so fast. It's ridiculous. And this bike is not very fast. All right, guys. But like I said, it doesn't have regen either. So I think if we had regen, we might have been able to do a little better, man. If you have regen, you can save some charge, we'll say, but it also heats the battery up too. So about around the 6 minute mark, all right, 3/4 through the race, the battery dies. The battery dies on the oval. I'm like, I'm looking at the voltage gauge, and it just goes out. I'm like, I think the battery just died. So that's what this thing does when it runs out of charge. It just cuts the power right away. All right, guys. I was able to get it to go pretty low this time. This should be able to go down to 72 volts. At the last hare scramble race, it died around 78 volts. So yeah, it's not good. The capacity of this battery is not very good, is what I would say. Yeah, so the bike died, and I wound up watching the last. I think there was probably 3 or 4 laps still left, and I just sit there in the middle of the oval, like off the race line and everything, watching people race. All right, like I saw Bronson, I'm like, oh, that's it, game over, battery died. I was like, yeah, I couldn't get it charged long enough. This thing charges super slow, but yeah, and then the race ended. So Hayes Mega finished dead last. Okay, actually, I think I got the technical term is DNF. Okay, guys, did not finish. All right, I didn't finish the race. I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're pretty close to what position we were in, like the 11th or 12th, 10th position or something. We were racing with some people out there, but I think the last couple laps before it died, I was already rationing the power, man. I was going half throttle when we needed to go really fast, I just went half throttle, guys. I was like, it was kind of embarrassing, man. It's frustrating, you know, when you want to go fast but you can't because you know the battery's gonna die. Yeah, man. It's like that movie Charge. If you watch the documentary Charge, they tell them you can't open the throttle all the way or else you're not gonna have enough charge to finish the race. And then the guy's telling him, you can't tell a racer not to open the throttle all the way because that's what we do, you know. and that's what I was feeling, man. It's the most frustrating feeling in the world where, yeah, I'm trying to go fast, but I can't go fast because we won't finish the race, all right? But yeah, that's the ultimate goal. You want to finish the race, all right? And we didn't, unfortunately, okay? So that was that. I pushed the bike. I waited for the end of the race, and then I pushed the bike off of the track, and then we got on the red shift, and then we went to go race the red shift, all right? And I'm not going to lie, I'm all tired and sweaty and stuff from having to push the bike around. And yeah, we get up there, and it's kind of the same story as the last race. There's like a lot of traffic. Oh yeah, you know, in the heat race, I didn't. Mia Wright, who I normally racing against. She was on a FS450, Jeremy's FS450. She crashed really hard in front of me. I saw her. I saw her, I think she high-sided or something. She went over the bars, and I think the bike did like a somersault type of thing, man.
Oh! Mia went down! Oh! Mia went down!
It was crazy. But yeah, so in this... in the main race, I saw somebody crash on.
Oh shit!
The very on turn 1. All right, I guess they must have blown turn 1 or something, and they tried to turn the bike really quick and they couldn't, or something happened. But they just, I think they high-sided the bike or something. It looked like a pretty bad crash. I think there was a couple crashes at the beginning of the race when it started. Everyone tried the most dangerous part of the race is the start and the first corner, guys. It's always like that. Well, it's the first corner, the first and the second corner in this race. There's just so much traffic. It's just like, man, where the hell? I'm just like, where am I gonna put my bike? I saw people cutting the corner and stuff. I was like, I don't want to cut the corner. You have to go around the cone, man. Don't cut the corner. Hayes Meg is a clean racer, okay, guys. I don't cheat like some of those other people that just they went around. They went on the other side of the tire. You're supposed to go on the right side of the tire, right? Yeah. So and then that was it. We were racing, and guess what? We're stuck behind. Guess who again? Connor Lynn again, man. And it's the same story as before. I'm trying to follow him, and I'm getting really close to him at the beginning of the race. I think I can make an attack, but not quite. You know, I almost like smack into him a couple times. You know. And then it makes me slow down a whole lot. And then the person behind me catches up to me, and I was like, this is so frustrating. And then after like 3 or 4 laps, Connor just pulls away from me, and I can't catch him anymore. So I think it's because probably the red shift is getting slower or something. I think Eric was behind me again. That's what he told me. He was behind me, and he couldn't pass me. He said my bike is like, it's too fast. So... Eric is on a 250 though, okay guys? Yeah, so Eric is on a 250 and Connor is on a 450, so that's my excuse, guys, alright? That's how I was able to beat Eric. He's on a 250. That's his excuse, alright? And that's my excuse. I couldn't catch Connor because he's on a 450. When I see the red shift is like, it's probably a little bit faster than a 250, but it's not as fast as a 450, I mean it, alright guys? We're kind of like smack dab in the middle of them, alright guys? It's kind of frustrating, alright? Yeah, and so that's the scoop, guys. I don't know what we finished, alright guys? Bronson still got to post the results, and I never figured out what place we got. But I'm pretty sure we didn't get on the podium, alright guys? I remember at some point, the pros started passing us. We started getting lapped. and it's just wild, man. When if you get lapped by a pack of pros, guys, that's why you don't race again. That's why you don't have races with pros and amateurs in it, guys. Because the pros are so much faster than the amateurs, man, and it's kind of scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. When you hear a bunch of guys behind you, they're like, oh shit, man. Or you see that blue flag and there's a pack of fast bikes behind you, you're just like, oh shit. You know, what they say is like, don't do anything crazy. Don't just keep on racing, but just be aware somebody's behind you to pass. You know, at one point I heard Koi like yelling at me, like, hey, I need to get by, type of thing. And I'm just like, no, just hold your line. Like they'll pass you. Don't worry, they'll pass you somewhere, type of thing. All right. If I can see where they are, I might just, you know, what I like to do is I like to wave people on. All right. If I go like, hey, you know, if I say come in this way, you know, I want you to go to the inside, or I'm gonna go on the right side, you know, that type of thing. So they know where, you know, where I'm trying to leave it open for them, type of thing. So that's what I'll do. But sometimes I don't even know how far they are behind me. So it's just like, just keep on going, man. There's somebody behind you, but I'm not really sure how close they are. Okay, that's the thing. Like, you can hear them, but it's just like I don't really know how far they are. I don't want to look back. You know, you're not supposed to look back. Okay, guys. So yeah, there was that. During the race, we got lapped, and it was kind of scary, dude. But it was also fun watching them lap you, like how fast they are and how crazy the racing is that the pros do. That's the first row seat right there, man. I'm telling you, on the racetrack. I already know for the dirt track race we got last, all right, because we didn't even finish it, all right, guys. On the red shift, we got somewhere in the back of the pack, all right. We're pretty close to where we were before. I would imagine we probably got around 10th or 11th place or something, out of like 15 bikes or something, which is not bad, all right, in my opinion, all right. So I had a great time. That was the end of that. I think it was it's something different, all right. Stuff Hayes Mega's not used to. You know, it was an all asphalt race. It was on a bowl. In the olden days of Supermoto racing, that's kind of a common thing. They would just race anywhere, right? They would add a dirt section or something. You know, it's not uncommon to race in places like that. It's very similar to the Supermoto USA race that we did this year, except without the dirt. All right. It would have been nice if there was some dirt, type of thing. But it was a lot of fun. The track was kind of slippery in certain places. All right, the paint is slippery. Once you hit the paint, you feel the bike slide, and it's scary, guys. Okay, the bike will slide, and then once you get off of the paint, it'll grip right away. But it feels really unsettling. All right, and there's like some tar snakes going into some of the corners. The back would slip out, and you'd have to back it into the corner. Yeah, man, it's kind of wild, dude. There's this turn. It's one of the last turns that you go around the wall, and then there's a patch, like a tar snake patch. All right, it's a big patch, and I would hit it. I don't know why I wouldn't hit it with this, but I would hit it with this, and the front tire would just come sliding, and it feels scary. I would dab really hard, you know. Yeah, man. So after a while, I knew that, hey, you gotta go in this turn really wide. Don't try to take it tight, because you're gonna hit this patch and you're gonna go sliding. So I would go wide, so I would avoid that. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of line choices. Hayes Mega, I tried to block the inside. That's what I did. I would take the Supermoto line. I would speed up, slow down, and go around the corner, like go around the inside of the corner instead, right? I would try to keep it really tight inside, and then rock it off. Some of the turns, maybe I would come out a little bit, and then try to wide apex it so we can carry more speed through the turn. But for the most part, it was just like point and shoot. All right, and what I noticed is this bike is more flowy than this bike. All right, this bike it's too fast for its own good. All right, type of thing. Okay, it's point and shoot. Basically, you speed up, you point the bike where you want it, and you speed up again, right? And or you try to, I try to make the corners really tight, all right? Where other people's might be going wide, and they're trying to carry more speed through the turn so they can, get more exit speeds and stuff, okay? Yeah, so there's a lot of choices with the lines and stuff because it's not a real racetrack, guys. Okay, it's kind of like an autocross. Think of it that way, all right? It's an autocross course, but you're racing with a lot of other people. Okay, guys, it's pretty wild, man. I had a lot of fun. I didn't get hurt. I didn't break any of the bikes. All right, it's unfortunate this one didn't survive the DTX race, man. I was having a lot of fun in that race. In fact, I think I was having more fun in the DTX race than the Supermoto race was a little too crazy for me, man. I'm not gonna lie, okay, guys. There's just too many bikes, and it was mayhem, all right. But it was fun, but it was mayhem, all right, guys. The DTX race, it was chill, man. I was like out there. I'm like, yeah, the bike is yeah, it's doing what I'm telling it to do. I'm racing with these other guys. I'm trying to stay in front of them. I'm trying to manage my battery my battery life. Yeah, man. I think the redshift overheated on maybe the last lap or something. I tried to cool down the battery as much as I can with the fan, and it helped. Okay, and also this has the shorter gearing, so it helped. Like I said, and no, I never noticed any power drop on the redshift. Okay, guys. No significant power drop. This one, yeah, okay. I think when you get to about half charge, you start to notice, looks like it's getting tired, that type of thing, okay. But actually, I'm very impressed with the WRE, okay. I was impressed. It did pretty good in that race, man. If it wasn't for the battery running out of charge, I think we probably would have finished the same place, like 10th or 11th, like we did last time. Okay, so we wouldn't have finished dead last. I don't think we finished dead last on the Supermoto race. Okay, I think there was a couple crashes out there and stuff. Okay, and then yeah, like I mentioned, I'll put the results for the Supermoto race in the subtitle below. Okay, guys. But yeah, we got dead last on this, unfortunately, because we DNF'd, basically. Okay. Yeah, so I would be down to go do this race again. Thanks to Bronson. All right. Bronson Pierce, Pierce Racing, and good luck, Bronson, on your 2025 Supermoto racing careers. Okay. Yeah, he's one of the top racers in our country, and he's trying to put on these Supermoto events to try to keep the Supermoto sport alive. Okay, guys. Supermoto is just kind of it's a dying sport, unfortunately. All right, and I like it a whole lot. It's just it's not what it was like 10 years ago or something, okay? 10, 15 years ago. It's not quite as big as that anymore, and, the promoters from those events are like, they're moving on, so Bronson has decided to step up to the plate and try to, get us these events and stuff, so and that was one of the reasons I wanted to go to this event, was to support Bronson, okay, guys? We need more riders to show up and all that stuff. Yeah, it's so they can make some money, so they can put on more races and stuff. But yeah, it's to give people places to race. That's the thing. That's the problem. We don't have any places to race. It's very racing is very expensive, guys. And I'm fortunate. Like there's places to race around me. Okay, still, we kind of lost one. Nobody races at Sonoma anymore because it's too expensive. All right. So it's all a money thing, there's just not enough money to hold these races off. So be fortunate if you have supermoto racing or motorcycle racing that you can do in your area. You should race, man. It supports them. I don't do the D36 races because there's so many people dirt biking, man. Like, well, what did they need my money for, man? My money and support. Supermoto needs my money, all right? That's why I do it, and it's fun, all right? I enjoy it a whole lot, all right? It's very challenging and it's very fun, and I like it a whole lot. All right. So that is Hades Omega's last race of 2024. It was Supermoto race, the Jeff Periera Home Energy Supermoto Championship. All right. Next year, Bronson is trying to see if he can get more races done. He's going to see if he can add some mini classes and stuff like that, or races for the little kids and stuff. That was the thing about this race. It was only for it's pretty much a race for adults or bigger, faster bikes, all right? That's why I didn't take the Light B. Could I have taken the Light B? You know what? Probably. I probably would have done okay on the Light B. But yeah, definitely for the faster sections, the the oval section, you kind of want a faster bike, all right? Faster bike and better brakes, man. Yeah, you definitely want those two things. You want speed, and you want to go fast, and you want to slow fast. All right, guys. So I saw a lot of people out there were having problems with their brakes. Okay, fortunately, I wasn't one of them. All right, the WR250E's brakes were while the WR250E's braking was not so good, you know. I could work with it. All right, I just have to remember, hey, you just gotta brake early, you know, and then just pitch it into the corner, you know, try to carry your speed more type of thing. Yeah, so I'm used to just letting off on the throttle, it slows down already, then I give it however much brake. That's how I ride the Redshift, okay guys? But the brakes are excellent on the Redshift, alright? I have no complaints about the braking on it whatsoever, man. It's like too good sometimes, alright? Okay, so that's a scoop, guys. That was my last race of the year. I hope you guys have enjoyed my racing videos. I know it's taken me so long to get them out and stuff, but yeah, I had a whole lot of fun, and it's definitely a different experience, especially with this many bikes. All right, Hayes Mega I'm not gonna lie, just recently Hayes Mega started racing bigger Supermoto bikes. Okay, I have the Redshift now. All right, and I want to show people what it can do, and some people are pretty surprised how good a bike this is. Okay, so that's the scoop, guys. Okay, thanks for watching. Hayes Meg out. All right, and check out this cool shirt that I got. Bronson, they gave us this shirt for all of the everyone who raced. We got a free shirt. So there it is. Okay, I got a sweater too. That's the one you can see right here. That's what's on the back of the shirt. So. Pretty cool. Okay, there you go. Bronson Pierce 132. Good stuff. All right, yeah, look him up. He's an awesome racer. He's fast.